Hey there, welcome back to my channel. So today we're doing a 6-minute makeup look. When you don't have a lot of time, maybe you need to jump on a Zoom or other virtual meeting, this is gonna get you put together really quickly and it's really easy to do. This is the makeup look that we're doing. It only took me 6 minutes, and to prove it, I've got a stopwatch. This video is in real time. I did not speed it up, so you are seeing exactly how long it is taking me to do all of these steps. First, I'm starting with a primer, and this primer is by Cover FX. It's their gripping primer, and I think it has a nice amount of hydration that it keeps the skin looking natural, so you're not going to look super flat and super matte, just really nice and healthy looking skin. Now I'm going in with a NARS skin tint. This is the matte velvet skin tint, and although it says matte, I don't think that the finish is completely matte. I think it gives a really nice skin-like finish. And what's nice about using a skin tint is you don't have to be as precise as you do when you use a foundation. So as you can see, I'm just applying this with my fingers, making sure that I have pretty even coverage. I use the extra on my hands, on my neck, just so that my face and my neck are the same color. And I'm just gonna buff that in with a little foundation brush just to make sure that there aren't any harsh edges. But this application is pretty simple, and again, a skin tint is really forgiving, so you don't have to be as precise as whenever you're using a foundation. Now I'm just going to go in with a little concealer and spot correct any blemishes. So I have a couple little breakout spots, a couple places where I have some discoloration, and I'm just applying that. And this is a NYX HD concealer. It's a very light formula, so instead of buffing it, I'm just going to tap it into my skin. That allows for the maximum coverage, but it also keeps it looking really natural. And as you can see, this concealer is pretty close to my skin color, so you're not really seeing where the concealer is versus where the foundation is. It's all kind of blending together cohesively. Now that we've got that on, we're going to go in with a little highlight. So I'm using a Juvia's Place concealer, and we're just going to use that under the eyes. We're going to take it down the bridge of the nose and a little dot on the chin. I'm going to go back in with that same foundation brush we used earlier. I think the key to saving time is not using a ton of tools, and we're just going to buff out that concealer. So I'm buffing it out, making sure that there aren't any harsh edges. I took a little extra underneath my cheeks to do a little bit of reverse contouring. Going to buff it into my chin, and then I'm going to buff it in on the bridge of my nose and add a little tiny bit on the forehead just to open up and brighten up my face. And I'm just smoothing out any of the lines. And now, just using your finger, go ahead and smoothen that concealer under the eye. I like using the finger for this because it warms up the concealer just a bit, it thins it out some, and then you won't need to set it because we're keeping everything natural. We don't want to use a setting powder under the eyes. It's going to make you look a little more cakey, a little more made up. So the less concealer under there, the better. I'm just going in with a tiny swipe of Hourglass Ambient Light Powder to semi-set the concealer, but again, if this creases throughout the day, we don't have a ton of powder there, so we can just smooth it right back out with our fingers. I'm just using a bit of brow gel to give my brows a little extra shape and a little more definition. A little rough brush through with this Benefit Brow Gel. And then if you have a little extra above or below, I just like to take a fingernail or a spoolie brush and just brush that off of my eyebrows. It's really easy to do. Again, this is a very simple look, so we're not going for super done up brows. Now we're going to go ahead and add some more color to your face. So I'm actually using a NARS liquid lipstick as a blush, and I put a little on the back of my hand, and I'm just going to go ahead and tap that into my cheeks. I think that this gives you a nice flush. It's very natural looking, which is what I really like about this. Even though it's a lip color, I think it works really well in the face. I like to add a little bit on my nose because when I'm naturally flush, my nose is also a little rosy. So I added a little bit there. Not a lot, just a little extra touch to keep it looking natural. I'm going to go over it a tiny bit with a powder blush that has a bit of shimmer in it. I think the shimmer keeps it more natural looking than just having a matte blush. And this one is by Juvia's Place. So I only applied a tiny bit, and I'm just blending that out with my finger. Now for my very absolute favorite part is the highlighter. I'm using a highlighter from Pat McGrath, and since we're not using a lot of powder products, this is a stick cream highlighter. It's a really nice pretty gold color that blends out to a natural finish. So I'm using that same brush again just to blend out that highlighter and make sure that we don't have any harsh edges. I think this gives a nice glow to the face without looking overly shimmery or sparkly. Now we're going to go ahead for a little eye color. This is also by Pat McGrath. This is a liquid highlighter that I like to use as an eye color. It's pretty intense, so I think that it's better for me on the eyes. It has a lot of sparkle, but what's nice about it is that it really grips to the skin, so I don't feel like you need an eye primer to keep this on all day. And because it is a shimmer sparkle, if it does crease a little bit, you can just take your finger and smooth it on out. And if you have a little extra on your finger, you can go ahead and apply it where you did your highlighter just for a little extra shine and sparkle, because I don't think you can shine and sparkle too much. Now we're going to go ahead with a little mascara, and because we're keeping this simple, we're just doing the top lashes. Mascara is just going to open up the eye just a bit and make you look more awake, youthful, and put together, because that's what we're going for. And last but not least, we're going for the lips. I'm using a Marc Jacobs lip gloss that I'm just applying with my finger to keep things nice and simple. And again, throughout the day, you can add a little more if you need to. And would you look at that? You can see the clock does not lie, and this only took 6 minutes and a couple extra seconds, but really just basically 6 minutes. If you want to go for bottom lashes, you can add some mascara to the bottom. I think just doing the top saves a lot of time. You can also add a bolder lip, so maybe a lip look that would take a little bit of liner, a little more precision, and you can add a little more highlighter if you so choose. But this is basically to get you together in the shortest amount of time possible. I think this is great for every day, especially if you don't like to spend a lot of time on your makeup. So I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know your thoughts if you're going to try it out in the comment section, and I will see you next week.